what Jeremiah prophesied against all the nations. For these in their turn are to be enslaved to powerful nations and great kings, and I will repay them back as their deeds and their handiwork deserve. Yahweh the God of Israel said this to me: Take this cup of wine from my hand, and make all the nations to whom I send you drink it. Let them drink and reel and lose their wits at the sword I am sending among them. I took the cup from the hand of Yahweh, and made all the nations to whom Yahweh sent me drink it, Jerusalem and the towns of Judah, its kings and its nobles, to make them into a desolation and a waste, a thing of scorn, a curse, as is so today. Pharaoh the king of Egypt, with all his servants, his nobles, and all his people, the whole crowd of foreigners, besides all the kings of the land of Uz, all the kings of the country of the Philistines, Ashkelon, Gaza, Ekron, and what still remains of Ashdod, Edom, Moab, and the sons of Ammon, all the kings of Tyre, all the kings of Sidon, the kings of the islands across the sea, Dedan, Tema, Buz, all the cropheads, all the kings of Arabia who live in the desert, all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of Media, all the kings of the north, near and far, one after another, and all the kingdoms that are on the face of the earth. As for the king of Sheshach, he shall drink last of all. You are to say to them, Yahweh Sabaoth, the God of Israel, says this: Drink, get drunk, vomit, fall, never to rise, at the sword that I am sending among you. If they refuse to take the cup from your hand and drink, you are to say to them, Yahweh Sabaoth says this: You must drink, since I am now making a beginning of disaster with the city that bears my name. Do you think you are likely to go unpunished? You certainly shall not. For I will next summon a sword against all the inhabitants of the earth. It is Yahweh Sabaoth who speaks. Let your prophecy to them contain all these words, and tell them, Yahweh roars from on high. He makes his voice heard from his holy dwelling place. He roars loud against his sheepfold. He shouts aloud like those who tread the grape. The sound reaches all the inhabitants of the earth, to the far end of the world, for Yahweh is indicting the nations, arraigning all flesh for judgment. The wicked he abandons to the sword. It is Yahweh who speaks. Yahweh Sabaoth says this: See, the disaster spreads from nation to nation. A mighty tempest rises from the far ends of the world. Those slaughtered by Yahweh that day will be scattered across the world from end to end. No dirge will be raised for them. No one will gather them or bury them. They will stay lying on the surface like dung. Howl, shepherds, shriek, roll on the ground, your lords of the flock. For the days have arrived for your slaughter. Like the finest rams you will fall. No refuge now for the shepherds, no escape for the lords of the flock. Listen, a shout from the shepherds, a howl from the lords of the flock. For Yahweh has laid their pastures waste, their quiet sheepfolds are in ruins. The lion has left his lair. Their land is a wasteland now, thanks to the destroying sword and the fierce anger of Yahweh. Amen. Then Abimelech marched against Thebes, besieged it, and stormed it. In the middle of the town there was a fortified tower, in which all the men and women and all the leading men of the town took refuge. They locked the door behind them and climbed up to the roof of the tower. Abimelech reached the tower and attacked it. As he was approaching the door of the tower to set it on fire, a woman threw down a millstone on his head and crushed his skull. He called his armor-bearer at once and said to him, "Draw your sword and kill me, that no one may say of me that a woman killed me." His armor-bearer ran him through, and he died. When the men of Israel saw Abimelech was dead, they withdrew, each to his own home. Thus God made the evil of Abimelech that he had done his father by murdering his 70 brothers, as God made all the wickedness of the people of Shemach recoil on their own heads too, and so the curse of Jotham son of Jerubbaal came true for them. Amen.